The New York Knicks are finessing the NBA as they found a new way to manipulate the salary cap and bring in both Landry, Shamet and Matt Ryan as the Knicks front office continues to just change the way that teams do things, and we have to talk about it. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into the video as we usually do. But guys, also very quickly, make sure to subscribe to the channel. It does help out way more than you could ever believe, and it really would mean a lot. But guys, let's jump into this and talk about basketball. Because the New York Knicks, in case you haven't been paying attention, have lost Landry Shamet and had to waive him due to him dislocating his shoulder. This had a big effect on the Knicks as Shamet was going to be their ninth man, but things have changed once he dislocated his shoulder. Right now, rookie Pacome is the team's ninth man, and he looks very good, which is why I made a whole video on that a couple days back. But now it's time to talk about Landry Shamet and about Matt Ryan, two players the Knicks have had prolonged interest in, despite the fact that both of them were free agents and still sort of are in one way, but they're not exactly. As the NBA G League draft was the other night, and the New York Knicks made a very sneaky move in order to do something there, as the Cleveland Charge, they used to be the Canton Charge if I'm not wrong, the Cleveland Charge have dealt the number 2 pick in tomorrow's G League draft. This was tweeted out on Friday, hence the date at the bottom of the screen, and saying that they dealt the number 2 pick in the G League draft to the Westchester Knicks. So Westchester now holds picks 1 and 2, leaving Cleveland with pick number 3 and some player rights that were also exchanged in the deal. So the Knicks could have the 2 top picks in the G League draft. Now, why does this matter? Do the Knicks care if the Westchester Knicks are really good? Is that the goal here? Well, I guess in one way, sure, because you could always bring someone up from the Westchester Knicks, and then they're in your system and all that. So to a degree, yeah, they want the Westchester Knicks to be good, but that is not at all why they did that. The Knicks had something much more nefarious, as when they made this trade, it became clear via Mark Stein that Landry Shamet and Matt Ryan, players the Knicks were known to covet when they take their roster from 12 to 14, are both eligible for the G League draft. Both were eligible. Westchester owns the 2 top picks, and drafting Shamet enables the Knicks to supervise his shoulder rehab and have them do it under the New York Knicks, while they also get Matt Ryan, who they get to put on a 2-way contract eventually. As here's the deal, the Knicks are going to sign Ariel Hukporti at one point in the pretty near future to a fully guaranteed rookie contract. Once they do that, they'll have a 2-way deal opened, and they'll be able to use that on bringing in Matt Ryan. Now, here's the deal about Matt Ryan, guys. Yes, he is healthy, and the Knicks, if they put him on a 2-way deal, they will put him right up in the NBA, and he could get some actual minutes, as he did play for the Pelicans last season. As Ian Begley mentioned, Ryan was named Mr. Basketball in New York in 2015 and shot 45% from beyond the arc last season in 28 games with the New Orleans Pelicans. He put up 6 points while doing that. He could clearly give the Knicks a boost on the perimeter. He'd also like to be in New York, and the Knicks certainly have interest in him, but there is no deal in place, and there may not be one until the Knicks are forced to add a player. Well, they found a way around that. What the Knicks went out there and did was they brought in Matt Ryan to the G League team. So now they have Matt Ryan in their system, and they can wait till they sign Hukporti. Matt Ryan also will most likely be okay with playing for the Westchester Knicks. If he had to play for a G League team, the Westchester Knicks are going to be number 1. Matt Ryan's from New York and went to Iona Prep, which, if I'm not mistaken, as someone who lives in Manhattan and didn't go to that Catholic high school, I went to a different one, which will remain nameless. And essentially, I think it's in Westchester. It's near Fordham Prep. Fordham Prep and Iona Prep are rivals. I know that from my friends who went to Fordham. And frankly, Matt Ryan, phenomenal player. Very, very good player in high school and in the NBA. If he's shooting 45% from 3, guess what? You're a useful NBA player now, and the New York Knicks see that. They know their bench is a little weak with shooting outside of Deuce McBride, someone who could, at any point, could get put in that starting lineup for Josh Hart. We can certainly see that becoming a possibility. And if that does become a possibility or something that happens, then the Knicks are going to desperately need some shooting and scoring off the bench. Now, Landry Shamet is the guy they want to turn to more than anyone else. Last season, Shamet put up 7 points per game with 1 rebound and 1 assist with the Washington Wizards. He did not shoot very well, but I blame that more on the Washington Wizards being the Washington Wizards and just not always having the most efficient team ever. But their front office is getting better in the Wizards' defense. Now, he shot 42% on corner threes. The Knicks shot the most corner threes in the last 2 seasons of NBA basketball. They have guys like Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby, who love to play out of that corner 3 spot. You have Karl Anthony Towns, who's a phenomenal corner 3 shooter and just 3-point shooter in general. You have Jalen Brunson, who's a phenomenal 3-point shooter. You have Deuce McBride, who's a phenomenal 3-point shooter. The Knicks have a lot of shooters, and they love to shoot a lot of threes in that corner spot. There's a reason why teams love it. It's the closest 3-point shot. It's just a very efficient shot in this day and age of NBA basketball. So the Knicks want a guy like Landry Shamet or Matt Ryan to go out there and do that for them. And they're going to ask of that for both teams. Now, here's the deal, guys. Landry Shamet is injured. He's out with a shoulder dislocation, and it's unclear how long he's going to be out. Now, initial reports seem to indicate that that Shamet is going to be able to avoid getting shoulder surgery. He's probably going to be able to come back in the more near future, and if he comes back in the more near future, what that means is the Knicks are going to have the 9th man. They've wanted to be their 9th man since the beginning of the preseason and since training camp. Now, the good news is that Pacome Dadier has played really well, and you now have Matt Ryan to cover for Shamet until Shamet returns from injury. The Knicks also get to watch Shamet return. They get to watch his shoulder rehab process. They get to see what the big deal is. So they'll know if they should sign him to a roster sooner now than they would before, and that's because they're just going to be able to watch everything that happens. They're going to know if Shamet's someone who they could bring onto the team this season or not. So they're going to use this to their advantage that they have him on the G League team. They're going to use Matt Ryan in a 2-way contract. That's going to get you 13 guys once you have Huck Porty signed to that deal. And also, as time goes on, once we pass November 5th, it's going to be a little cheaper to sign some players. That's probably around the time we'll see the New York Knicks go out there and sign Ariel Huck Porty and put Matt Ryan on that 2-way deal. Now, the Knicks also will look at other options. They'll still look at Lonnie Walker. They'll still look at other guys around the league who have played 6 or less seasons in the NBA. So you don't go into that second apron, because the Knicks aren't allowed to, because the Mikal Bridges trade. It's not like, oh, the second apron's bad, we don't want to risk losing our draft picks. No, it has nothing to do with any of that. The Knicks are not legally allowed to through the Mikal Bridges trade. You cannot go into the second apron. It's just not allowed, not even for a minute. You cannot do it. So they're going to have to figure that out, and the Knicks have been very good at figuring stuff like this out. Leon Rose has done a phenomenal job as the team's GM, and also not seen in the photo here, because this is Leon Rose and William Wesley, but the Knicks salary cap wizard Brock Aller is the man behind all of this stuff right here. He's finding ways to manipulate the salary cap every which way he can get, and the Knicks are loving doing this. This is what good teams do. You find loopholes. You find ways to manipulate all this so you can go out there and have a massive impact on your team regardless. So, guys, honestly, I think the Knicks did the absolute right thing here. You picked 2 guys who could be NBA role players on a contender. In the G League draft, you didn't pick some random guy, like back when they were picking Jimmer Fredette for no reason, who then showed up and played like a few games for the Knicks in garbage time or whatever. Then I think he also made a comeback and was on the Suns for a bit, if I'm not mistaken, and now is just off doing, I don't know, losing 3-on-3 Olympic basketball tournaments and stuff like that. So, he's man, where do the days go? Jimmer's like 34, 35 now. We're getting up there, guys. We're getting up there. And there are people who have no idea what Jimmer range is. Before there was Curry range, there was a brief point in time where if you threw something into a garbage can, you would not yell Kobe. You would shoot from really far away and yell Jimmer range. This was pre-Steph Curry. It's one of the reasons why teams were afraid of drafting Steph Curry. Or, sorry. This was pre-Steph Curry emerging. But it's why some people were high on Jimmer Fredette, is because of the fact that he did play similarly to Steph Curry, who was working out really from day one with the Warriors, but obviously no one saw what Steph was going to become, and then he became that. However, that has nothing to do with the New York Knicks, guys, but the Knicks front office has been phenomenal at getting things done here. This is an absolute genius play by the Knicks, and they're just finding new ways to find essential loopholes for them to make everything work out in their favor. And they've done this once again through manipulating the G League draft. This is what successful teams do. This is how a great team operates. It's very, very funny how the Knicks do stuff that no one else would even think of trying. And that's how you win. So I think it's a huge win for the Knicks. We're going to see if Shamet can come back. Comment down below if you think he'll be all right and if you want him there, or if you'd like Matt Ryan instead. I know we're going to get comments that say, no, don't sign either of them. Sign Lonnie Walker. Well, look, the Knicks are signing Matt Ryan to a 2-way contract either way because he's eligible for one, unlike Landry Shamet. So that means, also shout out Alonzo Trier for getting picked 58th overall in the G League draft. And that doesn't really matter. But It's good because he's back in basketball, doing all that stuff. Good for Alonzo. But look, guys, at the end of the day, the Knicks are going to have to go out there and they're going to have to figure out how to bolster this rotation up to a 15-man rotation, or at the very least a 14-man. And they've made some good progress with doing that today. So if you guys want to make sure to get more information, make sure to subscribe. We're always going to be dropping stuff. Like this video. Turn on post notifications. Have a great day. Go Knicks. Also, if you're a Jets fan and just watched that absolute hot garbage, abysmal performance, make sure to check out Jets Digest, where me and Matt, who you guys know from Knicks Digest Happy Hour, will be on as usual.